So it's coming to the end of Season 1 for Midnight, and I've finished up all of the goals that I set myself for each season. I've finished the Keystone Legend and the Ahead of a Curve achievements, all three of them this season. I think I have a good idea now of what the expansion has been like, and in a couple of words, I feel a little underwhelmed. If I think back to Legion and Battle for Azeroth, some of my favourite expansions, I remember not wanting to stop playing, whether it was for progression, the story, or the environments, but I've not felt that for Midnight. I found myself actually taking a break midway through the first season and pausing my subscription, and that was a month and a half into the new expansion. That's something that I've never done before in WoW, and the question is, why? Well, let's break it down. I'm not going to cover the storytelling right now, although it is an important factor. Let's just talk about the gameplay and systems, and we'll leave the storytelling for another video. Ever since they decided to take a different approach from the borrowed power systems to a different number of systems per expansion, I don't know if it's worked well. To give an example, we've had the Prey system added, the Folio, if I pronounce that correctly, which I would consider borrowed power, Void Assaults, Ritual Sites, Nagital and Val Zones, that's just to name a few. That's all before the first 0.1 patch, and with 12.1 over the horizon, there seems to be a lot more to come. This really feels like quantity over quality. For me, WoW currently feels like it has a lot of bloat with all of the systems, and none of them are really important. The only reason I run Prey tasks now is to easily get top-up crests to upgrade my gear, and once I've got a good couple of pieces, even the Nightmare missions don't seem very challenging. So I feel like they're a waste of time. The Folio currently gives weekly missions to upgrade the talent track, but they haven't felt very impactful. The missions take 5 to 10 minutes to complete before I completely forget about it until the next weekly reset. The Nagital and Val Zones introduced in 12.0.7 are interesting, and I felt like they are testing the heroic world tier options from the Legion Time Walking event. This does make the open world seem a little more challenging, and I hope to see this further expanded on into the future, but as an addition into the game, apart from some cool things to collect, what's the point of them? From all of these features, I've realised something. All of them take away from the MMO experience, and from a gameplay point of view, all of these features can be done solo. This entire season, apart from one raid night, I've played solo or pugged with random players that I've never met before. I don't need to find others to kill a rare or to complete a high tier delve to open a slot in my vault. I was easily able to complete tier 8 delves within the first week of the expansion to grind my hero gear. I used to play WoW to play with others and feel a sense of achievement with others, but I don't need to now to be able to complete that high-end content. I only really realised this when I joined my guild for a mythic Sporefall run where we killed Rotmir and the Penny Drop. I want to be playing with others. I feel like instead of giving us passive gameplay systems which just reset with the season, give us challenging content where if I'm in the open world, it would be helpful if that stranger stopped and helped me kill that rare, or find a small regular group in or outside of your guild to run high tier delves and push higher difficulties, an opportunity they missed out on with Torghast back in Shadowlands. I only played classic WoW for a short while, but even at level 28 in the wetlands, I wasn't able to chain 10 enemies and kill them. I had to think strategically. In Midnight, I quickly mount up and fly around. There's no point killing them. What I'm trying to say is WoW has become too easy and not many things feel impactful. Let's talk about gear for an example. With Season 2 around the corner, I've started gearing 2 of my ults, ready to switch from a Holy Paladin, and the catch up is so quick, I can't decide whether that's a good or a bad thing. I've sat here on a number of occasions over the last couple of days thinking, why have I spent all of this time grinding for this gear? Was it only to get the season achievements? Well, in a couple of months, all of this gear is just going to get vended, so I can replace it with gear that's going to be vended at the end of the next season. If we look back to Classic WoW and ask the question, why are so many of the items iconic and remembered? Well, this is because they were used by our characters for a long time. I remember seeing people taking Thunder Fury into the Burning Crusade, whereas now we have a new expansion drop and all of our epic gear is replaced by green or blue items. Why, in the War Within, did I replace Firalath with some random two-handed mace? It doesn't make sense. My Paladin has wielded the Ashbringer, my Shaman has wielded the Doomhammer, and now they hold some random weapon. I want to be able to invest into my character, but not so that at the start of the next season all of that progression is thrown away and I'll just start on another ult. Back in Legion, I only really played my Shaman because of the investment that I'd put into my artifact weapon, and I actually enjoyed that. Even if a patch wasn't great for my character with the changes being made, I still played it and found a workaround because I was so invested into it. Now it's, oh, my spec is bad this season, I'll just switch to something else and maybe I'll come back to it later. Rather than, what character am I going to play throughout this expansion, it's turned into, what character am I going to play through this season? And that leaves me with the question, what's the point? So Midnight hasn't started off great, and although I'm excited for the troll themed patch coming up, I can't say that I'm optimistic, which is sad. I've played WoW since Wrath of the Lich King, and honestly, not to be a doomsayer, but I don't think WoW is dying. I think that the WoW that I grew up with and enjoyed is starting to fade, and that's not even starting on the story, which we'll cover another time. So I'm sorry to be doom and gloom, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on the expansion so far. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.